You know, back in the before time when such things still mattered and going to the cinema didn't entail the risk of sacrificing my script guide to a virus apparently named after one of my favourite drinks, I was so excited to see this film that I actually booked the day off of work to go see this thing. I was going to see the first screening, then meet my wife for dinner and see it again, then again with my family, my friends, and anyone who wanted to see it but couldn't get a +1. I'm a bit of a James Bond fanatic, and yet I would be the first to tell you that the Bond franchise has not always been a promise of a high quality experience. How the franchise survived the last few Roger Moore films is a mystery known only to the film gods, and Craig's Bond has been mostly mediocre. Some people, who I'm going to assume haven't seen it for a while, are claiming that Quantum of Solace is seriously underrated. It really isn't, and Spectre was just a boring dud. But in No Time to Die, Craig's last time in the tuxedo, it appears that we're finally getting a half-decent Bond film at last. Rami Malek's villainous Safin appears to remember that a Bond villain's plan is not to cause James Bond some psychological torture, but to either take over the world, or
of course,
kill millions, or do both. Usually via some kind of plan that would fall apart in 5 minutes in the real world. I applaud that from the trailer this seems to be back in vogue, and I'm going to hope that the connection with Léa Seydoux Madeleine Swann is that she used to work for him but walked away and then she dies as a way of getting the plot started. I also see that arguably the weakest Blofeld ever is back, and from what he says in this trailer, he might not be used as just a one-off exposition dump but may actually play a part in the film, which is something I really don't want. In no other incarnation of the films, and certainly not in the books, do Blofeld and Bond share any kind of direct or indirect relationship before Blofeld starts his career as a supervillain. It's something that modern films have a bizarre obsession with and is increasingly becoming intolerable and makes film worlds seem very small. Back with No Time to Die, it looks like the franchise's habit of using mostly practical effects and using CGI only when absolutely necessary, it's still going strong, and I applaud this. I also applaud that Q Brass has decided that it does indeed go in for gadgets and gizmos again, which, as long as they stay somewhat grounded, is a welcome return. Bond gadgets have a habit of getting silly. Never forget that invisible car from Die Another Day, and I can't wait to see what they put in his watch this time. And I'm seriously looking forward to Lashana Lynch as Nomi. Hope I didn't butcher that too badly. A brand new 00. Now, for those at the back, there is no issue in either the books or films with having a female person of colour as a 00. In fact, it's explicitly made clear in one of the novels. You become a 00 until you age out, die, or are seriously injured and as such are unable to return to the field. In this film, Bond has retired and apparently lives in Jamaica, where the character was created, so that's a nice little nod to his origins, and as such is no longer 007, so it's entirely reasonable to expect that someone else from within MI6 would be given that moniker. If it turns out that she is the new 007, one thing I noticed is that she's only referred to as a 00 in the trailer and not the new 007, then the only thing that changes is a popular fan theory about how when you become 007 your name is changed to James Bond for security reasons is going to die, which is a shame as I quite liked it. It looks quite action-packed as well, which I liked, and Ana de Armas looks like she's going to be a lot of fun as someone who will probably be his new love interest after Swan probably dies in the first act, or they split up after Bond finds out that she used to work for a supervillain but never quite got around to telling him, which is going to make for an interesting Sunday roast. How's the beef? Oh, by the way, I used to be a supervillain's henchwoman. More gravy? One thing I really hope introducing all these lovely new characters is going to do is take the focus off of James Bond himself, because one thing that this incarnation of Bond has never quite figured out is that James Bond is a really boring character. It's the same as with the horrifyingly overexposed Batman. His villains are so colourful and interesting because he himself is so dull. James Bond is a functional piece of cardboard at his best when he's doing his thing with absolutely no need to be developed beyond his job is to stop X. He has the skills to stop X. He stops X. Rinse and repeat. And I hope that this is the same here. I don't care about James Bond. He's a wish fulfillment character. The knight off to slay the dragon and rescue the damsel in distress. Tell me about his villains. Show me glamorous things and cool gadgets and stunts, but don't bore me with James Bond's childhood. One thing though that has thoroughly confused me is the apparent tagline, "The mission that changes everything begins." What the living film does that mean? This is Craig's final outing. We're going to get a new Bond, I'm hoping for Tom Hardy, which will launch a new continuity set. So anything it changes won't impact beyond this film, and what can this film show us that we haven't already seen? This Bond has already taken on corrupt government officials and destroyed Spectre. There's nothing else to reveal unless you want to make M the true villain because Bond owes him 20 quid after he had a bet in Afghanistan and Bond never paid up, so M did all this to avenge his honour. Just make it something like his final mission begins or his ultimate test begins now. The mission that changes everything? I highly doubt they're going to kill off James Bond permanently, so this just seems pointless. But rubbish taglines aside, this trailer has done exactly what it needed to do. It got me hyped beyond belief for a film that's got to revitalise a franchise and show why we still need to hear those 7 notes and see a man in a tuxedo walk on, turn and fire his weapon down a gun barrel, because much like Death and Taxes, James Bond will return. But what did you guys think? Are you looking forward to this film? Who is your favourite James Bond? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a Dunkin'. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.